So hello again once more tonight. This is part 2 of our Monday night race of the Redline Racing community. We had already... This is now the third try of our second race in the third season. So if by Jeopardy, a Codemasters engineer should for some reason watch us. I hope you feel a little bit embarrassed. No, just a little joke. But yeah, we have seen this one glitch we had a bunch of times in the last weeks in online racing when the game for some reason does not stop the installation lab and we cannot move on from installation lab to the race. But okay, we have already seen a qualifying. Just try to get in the starting grid for you in a moment. Just a second. So the starting grid will be Fati, followed by Walker, then Leclerc, Hamilton, Bills, Elite 44, The Extremist in 7, Optics 8, Tirash 9, 10th for Charlie in Japan, 11 Benny Boy, 12 Super Steve, 13 Ned Craig, 14 Big Maka, 15 Tunam, P16 for the Greek Sepp, 17 Deroy, and 18 Krovi. This will be the starting grid. We have a 18-man grid. We have 16 drivers in the lobby, so still 2 guys missing. I hope everyone can join in time. And yeah, once again, the third time this evening, we race on the very difficult track of Singapore. This is the track, 23 turns, 5 kilometers of length, and it is ruled to very hard for a reason. The session timer is ticking down. I hope that everyone will be on board. There's the figure of just 16 drivers now. Would be sad if we'd already miss a few guys here. We have had an 18-man grid on the first 2 tries, so not a full grid sadly. Yeah, let's see what will happen this time. We had a dry quali and a slightly wet start of the first race, at least the first try of the race. Yeah, I actually sadly really only see 16 drivers, so 2 of our RRC drivers have not made it through the server storm. So it's wet again, so we have stayed to the weather setting we had before. The weather is set to dynamic, and we know that the weather can be rainy in Singapore, so that is really realistic. Just the starting phase sadly is not. So we will see another induction lap here have short book. Who is missing now? First one who not rejoined is Extremist. That is very sad for him. And Greek Sepp, who sadly will miss this race. This is double evil, I would like to say, because in the Monday League we have the rule that every driver gets points granted who finishes the race. Means even if you finish only in P12 or something, you get at least a few points to your account. So at the moment everyone is starting the race on Inters, and we are here with Fatih, who rushed through the first installation lap and is doing just the same here, even so much that he has crashed a little bit. There's no damage in installation lap, so no big problems for him. But one thing, he had a little bit of a wall touch in the first installation lap too, so maybe that means he is already set for a bit of troubles here in wet conditions. He had a monstrous qualifying lap 30, that on mediums, so dry conditions he's rather good in, but can he be good and fast in the wet too? So this time the installation lap is officially over. The 5 red lights on. The Singapore Grand Prix is on its way, and we have a jump start from Bills. He will be punished for that later. And a very bad start for Fatih, who crashes with, I think, Hamilton. No damage, I think. And then everything went rather cleanly. The guys were watching out for each other. What's going on here? Wheel to wheel between Deroy and Charlie Pan. Yes, turn 6. Everything went more or less cleanly. Let's have a look at the Ferrari of Fatih, if there is some damage to his car, while we see the tire strategy from the Amazon Web Services, but that is more or less all for the moment at least. The big winner of the start was the Greek Leclerc. But let's have a short look about the penalties. We had two jump starters. That was Bills. That message I read in news ticker on the bottom, and obviously the two, and that was why Fatih was surprised by the start and therefore was under duress from Hamilton as he got away slowly from the starting grid. And that's why he is -2 from the start. We see -3 from T-Rush, -4 now, and -4 likewise to Charlie in Japan. And we see a safety car, the first safety car. First safety car, what has happened? There is wing damage to Krovi. Likewise to his teammates, so both the Williams will need a new nose. And T-Rush is out. T-Rush aborted his race. Leroy did so likewise. So the first two DFs. We saw early pit stops from Bills and Hamilton. Hamilton obviously because he needed a new nose. So T-Rush and Leroy are out. I hope you guys will stay with your friends here in the stream and just have a look what's going on for the rest of the race. Hamilton and Bills both are not leading. That's the next malfunction of the online game, because in lap 3, yes, now it's correct, in lap 3 the tables are confused. We need one lap to get things in real order, and this is the real order now. So Walker is the leader. Leclerc was actually before, so there was some action going on before the the safety car came out. Leclerc now, there's no damage on his car. He still needs to serve a drive-through penalty, but I think he is not allowed to do so now, because on the safety car he will not lose the same time as he would on the green condition. So Walker, the winner of our season opener, is already the leader here in race 2 again. Season opener, by the way, in Spain. Good race, very clean race. Everything went rather smoothly there. Clean about the server situation, likewise to the race. I think we did not have a single safety car phase there. That always speaks for a very high quality of the racing drivers. Uh-oh, pit stop for Hamilton again? Is this really already his second pit stop? Second nose he needs? Yes, definitely his second stop. So there has been some... he did make some acquaintance to any kind of wall or barrier somewhere. If he needed a new nose already again. But for the moment he is lucky that we are still under safety car, so he can hurry up and join the rest of the grid. He will not lose as much of time as he would have under green condition. Let's stay with him on his TV pod for the moment. And I think it's not raining anymore, so there is no new rain dropping down. So as we all know the game, this could mean that in 2 or 3 laps we can think about slicks then. He's intensely warming up his rear tires here. Sector 3 will come up here. The information about the safety car. Safety car is not in this lap. We will have another lap of safety car. No, the lights are out now. Lights are out now. Safety car is in this lap. And that means that Walker is dictating the pace for the field here in Sector 3. And he has started to run away very early and was shaking off Leclerc big time. 2 seconds already the gap. And Fatih is in P2. Ah, Leclerc went into the pits. Leclerc into the pits. Bills likewise. Maybe they will gamble for softs, for slick tires here already now. Ah no, they served their drive-through penalty, of course. Those were the jump starters. They had to drive through, and that makes Fatih second, Optics third, Elite fourth. Super Steve got ahead of Ned Craig, and that pushes him into the battle against Big Maka. Maka attacking on the better lane here. Pushed him out a bit, but everything rather cleanly. Bit of touching, but that was okay. And in the background, this is filmed and brought to us from Lewis Hamilton, who is close to Thuram here. Was in last position just 2 laps ago, now he's already up in P10. Yeah, the track is definitely trying out, no rain pouring down anymore. Who will be the first to stop for slicks? Who will be the first one? And then which one? So we are through the tire rule, the rule that you have to use 2 different sets of tires. That we have done, so whoever stops now can do whatever you want. And Big Maka does have some front wing damage here. You can see the left end plate is missing, so maybe he will be the one who stops next and then stops for slicks. 2 stops here, but Big Maka is not among them. It is Super Steve and all the guys in front. That's Walker, Optics, Elite, Benny Boy, Fatih. All those will get themselves fresh tires, fresh slick. Oh, all of them go on hards. No nose for Super Steve, and mediums, hard tires for the most of the guys. Oh no, Charlie is out. Charlie in Japan, it's rather Charlie in Singapore, is out. Third guy to DNF tonight. So still 2 guys on Inters, Hamilton and Big Maka, but they will come in just at the end of this lap then. A lot of pit stop action was going on here, very hectic pit lane now. A lot of drivers have stopped for hards. Can they really go through for 26 laps on hard? I am not sure about that. But they will definitely try, and then maybe try and see what do. There is a late safety car phase again. So for the moment, Big Maka and Hamilton lead. Oh, there's already Walker behind him. Hamilton did not stop yet, and Walker is already in his gearbox and has just passed him, running in circles around him. Oh, Hamilton is viciously sliding. His tires are heating heavily. I wanted to stay with him just to have a look where he will land in the end, and he barely did not crash in the wall. So this 1 lap staying out longer was a big mistake for him. We can see that everyone is passing him, and he needs to go left here into the pit lane and shake off his heated Inters. In front of him, Big Maka and Elite 44 again. Here are oh, he's out. Elite was angry over the fact that he went inters again and therefore aborted his race. Fourth man to DNF. Okay, well, only 5 guys left after 5 laps. I want to mention it again. Points for every position that you've... So even Elite and Charlie in Japan maybe did not have a chance for a good position, but they would have gotten 5 points at least, even if they were just 16th, and they threw away these 5 points. And in the last race, when it is June or July or something, we will have a look at the overall standings again, and if they might lose a position by, I don't know, a point or 2 or 3, we will have to look back to today and say, my goodness, why didn't I just finish the Singapore race even if I didn't have a chance for a podium? But okay, that's how it is. Let's focus on what is going on. There is an attack from Bills maybe coming up against Ned Craig. He has already rushed into his rear. Did he pick up a damage? Everything looked okay on his nose. Here's a short DRS zone. He's running on the wide lane and got the head of Ned Craig. Looked rather easily. He had the better tire to do so. Medium is faster than the hards. He needs to be faster because he will have an additional pit stop in case Ned Craig wants to go through on his hards. What is going on? Hamilton is close to Big Macca here. At least inside the DRS window. But well, there's just one really DRS zone of use, one long DRS zone plus 2 short DRS zones. Overtaking in Singapore is hard. Just maybe 2 or 3 turns that you can really use for that in case your opponent doesn't commit a mistake or lets you go. And he is chasing the Big Mac over the track of Singapore once around, or rather through the tunnel. Then a chicane and one more turn until the next DRS zone. Big Macca running wide here. That brings Hamilton into the overtake action. And he got it done. Backed up from DRS plus the mistake. Big Macca push ahead rather easily. And there will not be a counter-attack from Big Macca. He's too far away here. So he DRS equipped and on the fire. He has no chance of countering. There's an attack from Bills against Super Steve on the inside. Oh god, this was not a place to go. And we have all seen why. Yep. What should I say? The Buffalo Bill has just run into the barrier here to cause the end of his race. There is half the AlphaTauri darted into the walls. I can understand that he was angry on that, but well, this is not a way to finish a race. And here we are back to the leader. Luckily, this did not cause a safety car. It caused a virtual safety car. So Is there anyone in the pits? No one who tried to exploit the VSC. Actually, no one has to. The hard tires runner will go long, I would like to say. And for the medium and soft runners, it's no reason to pit right here in case you don't need a new nose. Fatih is 3 seconds away from Walker, unable to get closer. He is rather losing time on him, I'd like to assume. Plus he still has a penalty in his backpack, and right when we were with him, he accelerated a bit too hard and crashed into the wall on his left hand side. He will need a new nose, lot of damage for his front wing, so he'll lose more time. And what is maybe even a bigger fact, he has uselessly thrown away his hards. He only has one set of hard tires, and if you opt for hards, you want to go long on them, and he went just 3 laps on these hards, so he rather threw them away, and whatever tire he opts for now, he will need to stop again. He will get a new nose, new yellow tires. Big Mucker is out meanwhile too. There's a yellow dot at the end of sector 1. An Alfa Romeo getting close to him soon. He already vanished, so his car was somewhere here, so maybe he crashed into the walls. We sadly didn't see it. There is no replay in live streamed broadcasts, sadly. Yeah, we're back to green condition. Yeah, and Walker controls this race totally. Did not commit a mistake like many behind him. Did not pick up a penalty yet. Just stays out of troubles here, and looks like he is on his way for the second victory in a row, but it's very early to say that, of course. So there is Lewis Hamilton. He is chasing Ned Craig here. He is maybe a rather good example why to stick to it. He had a okay qualifying, dropped back a lot in the early phase of the race, was in last position, and now he is 8th, chasing P7, and therefore if he would finish this in this position, he will automatically be granted a bunch of points. I have not the exact number to call out right now, but more than real life. In real life you will get 4 points. In our rule setting it would be, I would like to assume, something around 10 or 12 points. And Bills, who just ran into the wall on purpose, he could have had a similar amount of points, but just threw it in the garbage. So he's chasing Nat Craig. Next DRS zone right here. The rear wing is split. He attacks him on the inside, wheel to wheel. This will easily work for him. Nat Craig, do not crash into his tires. Nat Craig now chasing Hamilton. Maybe we will have a bit of racing rhythm and a bit of racing action here. Speaking about racing action, here we see Turamba, the only one who opted for softs after the rain. Therefore, the fastest driver in the grid right now. It seems like that he can go viciously faster than Benny Boy, but he has to. He needs to make his softs work against the majority of hard runners around him. Short DRS zone here. No advantage for him. Next DRS zone is coming up after the next right-hander. And there he should be able to attack Benny. Rear wing is opened up. The Haas is split and attacking him on the inside line here. And he is ahead. Benny Boy now chasing him, still very close, but in the next turns you cannot overtake. And now, after a few turns, we will have to see if Thuram can maybe pull away on his faster tires. Yes, he does. Thuram seems to be able to pull away slightly with the better grip. No chance for a counter-attack from Benny Boy. And he's now even out of the DRS window, so just half a lap later he is unable to attack or even close up with DRS on Thuram. So that was a really nice display of the strength of soft tires compared to hards. Let's see what our Greek Leclerc is doing. Next one to attack Ned Craig. Ned Craig in defense mode again against someone on a faster tire. Oof. Leclerc is aggressive, just like the real life Leclerc is. Ned Craig defending himself. No chance, no chance. Leclerc just pushed ahead big time. No front wing damage. We've seen him touching the rear of Ned Craig slightly, but no damage for him. So the race takes a short breather here as we reach the midway mark of the race. We have seen an overtake maneuver just because of Thuram Boy entering the pits. He has to, as his softs degrade a lot faster than all the other drivers around him. Let's see which tires he will use now. He has opted for softs again because he needs a new nose. New nose for Thuram that will drop him a bunch of positions. He opted to continue to go on softs, so he will be fast again, but will maybe need another stop. Still, what is it? 17 plus this lap to go. I doubt that the softs will get him over this distance. If he opted for mediums, I think he would have made it through the race. So after the last events, there has been no DNFs for a bunch of laps now, while Thuram almost crashed into the rear of Ned Craig. he Netcrack will have a deja vu in just a few turns, as he was overtaken by Turam on faster tires just 2 or 3 laps ago, and will be that just again soon. Oh, and Super C is out. There he is. Super C crashed into the barrier. And we have yellow. What's here going on? That's Leclerc. That's Leclerc. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Big carbon and debris festival here in Singapore. This is a virtual car. No car. And the attack by Turam, he passes him on the outside even before the DRS zone started. Yeah, if you run on fresh softs against someone on used hards, you can really run in circles around them. So only 8 man left from a actually 20 man plus reserve grid. Yeah, that's actually a bit poor, and still half a race to go, so I hope that we will have maybe, hopefully at least a podium or five guys left when we see the checkered flag being waved. And the next attack is about to come. Fatih, he's close to Benny Boy here. Fatih, maybe a bit of a loser at the moment. Not himself, of course, but the fact that he dropped a few positions. Here's the attack in the DRS zone on Benny Boy. Attacks him inside. Taking a lot of curb, but that was rather okay. Let's see if Benny Boy can stay close to Fatih. So as there are a lot of drivers out, we have some background chatter already going on very early in this race, and yeah, as how things evolve, I will update you if there should be some development of this background, or let's call it paddock story. And yeah, we've seen Benny Boy, who was able to follow Fatih already 3 seconds, the gap almost. Now it's over 3, and here we are with Walker. Very silent race. Nothing actually to say about him. That's a bit sad, of course, to not be able to show him, but for him that's a sign of a very successful race. Half the distance is over and he did not commit the slightest mistake. And yeah, he is at the moment, he looks like he is cruising his way to the 2nd victory in a row. Behind him on P2 is Optics, who did not have a good start to his evening likewise. A rather okay qualifying, had a crash in qualifying, and the race start was not a good one for him too if I don't mix him up with his teammate. But now he is in a good position after the early lapse phase. Likewise, he did not commit a mistake, just like Walker. He was very smoothly running in the dry, but he will be under pressure soon because this man, Fatih, has been viciously fast in the qualifying on mediums and in dry conditions. On mediums, the rather slower tire able to post a pole time that was over 6 seconds faster than the real life times on mediums. I repeat, on mediums. But it was obvious that he has some troubles with this track in wet condition or slippery condition. But now as we are back to dry, he is making up places and will attack Optics here. Optics is fast on the track, on the straight. Bit of a lock tire, but Fatih gets around the turn. Counter attack from Optics, no, at least not yet. Maybe here, maybe here. Oh, Fatih didn't see him and crashed into the area. Wheel to wheel action and touches from tire to tire. I think no damage to Fatih. Ooh, hard counter attack from Optics, who actually wouldn't even have to defend himself that hard because Fatih needs another pit stop. I doubt that he will make this already used set of mediums make it through the race. So Optics could let him go and just stay within, let's say, 5 seconds gap maybe. There is additionally a penalty on the account of Fatih. Let's have a look about that. It's a +6, so twice a +3 for corner cutting or track limits. Not here. So yes, Optics is not in need to battle that hard as he was sliding a bit here. Ooh, Fatih almost threw away his Ferrari on the acceleration. At the beginning of the DRS zone, we know we have just medium traction control. Maybe he opened up the rear wing when his rear was still unstable from acceleration. Maybe he pressed the overtake button a little too early. So he is still chasing Optics around the Marina Bay circuit. I think it's obvious that he in general is the faster one and will push into the into the DRS window in just a bit. Here is the next moment when DRS is open up for Fatih. No attack yet, but we know that the DRS zone on the start finish line is very short, just long enough to zoom in a bit. Here is the big DRS zone where he almost threw his car away just one lap earlier. What will he do this time? He is cautiously here. Cautiously against Optics, and they will run into a backmaker over there. Optics has thrown it away. Optics has lost his car on acceleration just like Fatih did before, but he ran into the barrier and he will need a new nose. We see yellow A safety? No. Was it a safety car or a virtual safety car? Couldn't see it good enough. VSC. So optics will not lose that much of time then, as everyone has to obey to intermediate sector times. That's very hard actually. Sounds stupid, but it's difficult to go slow in this game. We will stay with him for a moment. When he runs into the pits, he will probably have a set of softs for the end of his race, I would like to assume. Yep, softs for him, new nose for him, and how many positions will he lose in the end? Not that much, but sadly enough to be out of the podium competition. Hamilton is chasing Thuram here. Thuram on the faster tire, on the softs. Meanwhile, due to all this action around optics and Fatih, Walker is ahead by 30 seconds. That means he can easily have a safety stop now, meaning if he is unsure if his hearts will make it through the distance, he can easily stop now and still be in front. We see Thuram sliding a bit in the turns on his softs. And Hamilton on his slower hards is able to stay close to him. At least close enough to be somewhere on the edge of the DRS window. Let's see if he was inside the 1 second on the detection. He was. Barely, but in is in. He was able to make up 2/10 on the straight here. And next long DRS zone coming up here. He will not be able to attack. He's not even able to open up the rear wing, so he dropped out of the DRS window in the turns in between those two zones. So, as there is more or less no real action going on, we see optics here on a 0 lap set of softs. Did he have to come in again? Question mark. 2 stops for him? No. So this is still the set we have changed. Let's have a look at the penalty situation. Fatih +6, Likewise to Netcrack. Krovi is running with a plus 11. He just needs to finish the race and he will be granted a bunch of points for P8. And yeah, we actually easily can have a look at Walker again. I mentioned it already a few times. Very silent race for him. A really errorless race, and I think he might even already made it go rather slow, just bring it home safely. He could have an additional pit stop and would still be in front. So just not crash your Alpha in the barrier, just go through the 7 plus this lap and everything will be fine. And Hamilton is close to Thuram again, and Thuram needs the next pit stop. His tires 8 laps old. Those softs would not have made it to the end of the race anyway, I think. And he will get himself new softs. No new nose. I was expecting him to stop for a new front wing likewise, but he didn't, so he is on the freshest set of rubber, running in P5. There is probably no chance to attack for P4 if there is no safety car, but there is a real good chance, a real realistic chance for him now to chase the fastest lap of the race. Only he and Optics maybe really have a chance to do that. So there is more or less no racing action going on, at least no fighting action. No one is just even near the DRS window of the guy ahead, with 6 plus this laps left in the race. Walker, if he intends to get himself new tires, he should do that soon. And while I say so, there are some raindrops on the camera, so this might puzzle and shuffle things here in the end. We see some rather big gaps from other guys to each other, so let's just see how everything will go down the wire. If there is no safety car now, everyone will have a chance to stop for inters and probably stay in their position. The bigger question will be if there might be any of our drivers who commit a mistake and land in the barrier when it gets more and more slippery. Oh, and there was a Red Bull. Was it Benny Boy or was it Ned Craig? Has to be Ned Craig, who already kissed the wall there. He is about to be lapped, and we were on board with Walker when I could see in a glimpse of an eye that there was a Red Bull hitting the wall. And that was him. Well, He's lapped here, that's not a big issue. Having some deep trouble accelerating on his very old used hearts, so that's a topic maybe too. Krovi in the pits and Fatih is out. Oh no, what happened to him? Fatih is out. I cannot jump to him. There is no one near to see what happened, but there is a red dot in the end of sector 1. There where the yellow color is. Fatih is out. And maybe it just happened to him what I was mentioning it just 2 or 3 turns before. As I was saying, let's have a look if there is someone who throws his car away when it gets slippery. And it was Fatih, our reigning champion, our champion from season 2. He is out, and that brings Benny Boy into P2. Walker now in the pits, getting himself inters. And Lewis Hamilton has just stepped onto the podium position. What a race for him. Let's have a look about the starting grid position. So if you look at this, we see Benny Boy running up from 10th to 2nd, and Turam from 14th to 4th. Of course, all of that backed up by a lot of guys that retired or DNF'd. But still, good result from Benny Boy and Hamilton. And Walker, of course. I cannot repeat it often enough how big and great his result is, what he did today. So we only have 7 guys who will finish the race. Yeah, for our league, that is a bit poor, I've got to admit. For a league like the RRC, for this kind of racing standard that we set to us, for this kind of quality that this grid has shown in the season opener last week, this is not the best show today, but okay, it is as it is, and it will go down as just one race of many in this season. Benny Boy having troubles on accelerating here, but actually this is not a problem. He is far away from Hamilton behind, and even further away from Walker ahead. So as long as he stays away from the walls, his second place is rather cemented, I would like to call it, for the last few laps. Let's have a look about the penalties. And there is actually no position that will be changed due to penalties, at least as things stand now. Let's have a look at the TV pot from Benny Boy. It's not that much of rain, so the track is wetter than during the start, and the water is increasing. I didn't see the weather report, before the race, but now I understand why so many people opted for hards in the early phase of the race. So everyone, or the majority of drivers, were planning to go through long on these sets of hards until the next rainfall, until this rainfall, and then opt and change for inters late in the race again. So yes, that did make sense, but not many of those guys were able to really make this strategy work. It's maybe actually only Walker and Benny Boy. For Hamilton, his biggest asset was the fact to come back after a bad start and just stayed out of trouble then afterwards. That made him go third. And as there is no race or fight going on, everyone will just finish in this position where they are at the moment if they do not run into the walls. We will stay with our leader Walker, who had a perfect race. I know I repeat myself, but I cannot repeat it often enough to speak out how big his effort was today. Roby is now officially one lap behind, but I think actually everyone is. I saw Optics, who was behind Walker already, so he's got to be a lap behind him too. And if we have a look at the gap to the leader, with 147, Turamba might be lapped soon too if he isn't already. I know there's a little grey dot just one turn ahead of Walker, so maybe Turam, the fourth, will be the last one who is still in the same lap as Walker is. And our leader now is in the last lap. The last lap to end a race that the majority of drivers will hope to forget soon, I suppose. But okay, as I mentioned, it's a long season and there are a lot of possibilities to make up to what happened today. Ooh, and right in the last lap, this cannot be possible. In the last lap, Walker commits this one mistake. I was talking so much about him and I was praising him so much for running through the race without committing a mistake, and in the last lap he did. He lost his entire front wing, but in the end it's actually more or less unimportant as his car is still intact. He lost only his front wing and will just somehow bring his wrecked car over the checkered flag. 3 more turns he has to crawl through. His gap was tremendously big. He still is. Only 3 more drivers still in his lap. So the damaged Alfa Romeo from Walker has won the race. 2nd win in a row for our new and old leader. And as Stinson, Fatih were far away, Turamba will crawl up into 2nd position in our overall standings. We'll have a big gap on Walker. The details about that you can hopefully read as it is tomorrow on our homepage in the Monday racing column. So Benny Boy will finish 2nd, Lewis Hamilton on the on the podium in 3, Turamba 4th, Optics 5th, Natcrack 6th, and Krovi, who was almost 2 laps behind Walker, will acquire a bunch of points for his 7th position too. So this is officially the end of the race. Congratulations again to Walker and the driver of the day, Turam. This is the podium. The legend Michael Schumacher in the Alfa Romeo overall, spreading some champagne over the virtual podium stands. And this is the final result of our Singapore race. We have only 7 drivers who managed to get through the race. That is Walker, Benny Boy and Lewis Hamilton on the podium. Then Turamba, Optics, Natcrack and Krovi in 7th. And yes, this was race number 2 of 22. The next race, next Monday evening, will be held in Sao Paulo, Brazil. A totally different track. Could be rainy again, so our drivers will hopefully continue to train some wet conditions. Yes, we will be back next Monday evening, 8 p.m. UK time. The stream always starts around about 7:50 p.m. of UK time on my stream again. Until then, I wish you a very good evening or a good night, and stay safe in these times and keep racing.